are being led to prostitution in the name of sabaya, as we know that something had been in the past.
Mhm.
We, as regular, like the regular Muslim who's living in his life and being affected by the media, he's also a victim of what ISS is doing to him, to his brain. People are starting to question their faith, and that's a major problem. When you start questioning your faith throughout what you see those people doing in the name of the religion that you embrace. So not besides the, of course that we cannot neglect them, but besides that, that's a major problem with it, like shooting two birds with one stick, with one rock and one stick,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that's what they're doing.
Is there any sympathy towards ISIS on the street in Palestine? Will you find anyone saying, "Oh
No,
no,
no, no, no,
these are
no,
the"?
no.
It's unanimous.
ISIS, ISIS is not welcomed anywhere in Palestine, and actually, the people are frightened by the fact that they're planning to make appearances in Hebron and some areas in Palestine, but people are willing forcefully to fight ISIS if it ever appeared in Palestine because we know it's no good to have those kind of extremists
Hmm.
like doing whatever they do in any place in the world.
I think you just raised a interesting point there about saying ISIS is not welcome anywhere near Palestine. But how do you make comparisons with ISIS and Hamas and Islamic Jihad? Obviously, Hamas and Islamic Jihad are welcomed in Palestine. What is the difference between those groups?
Okay, well, to understand that, ISIS is they're just killing people in the name of whatever they find wrong, like people like not following the Sharia 100%. They just kill him in the name of religion. Hamas is doing a political freedom fighting process, but they are aiming into an Islamic state, but they're not killing people in the name of religion. They're not killing Christians. They're not taking over their women and leading them into prostitution or treat as sabaya. They don't do it even to the Israelis. Hamas is leading a political and freedom. It's a freedom fighting process with a vision like Islamic vision. ISS is doing the contrary. They're taking only the limits in Islam, and most of them the limits that don't exist, limits that have been founded by some extremists in the past of Islam. They're not even from the Islamic religion, and they're making an appearance for them and applying them, killing people in the name of religion. So Hamas is making a war for freedom. They're fighting as the Palestinian side in a war for freedom. ISS, it's just making the killing of people legit by sticking up to whatever alibi they can find in the like books of
Yeah.
history about some extreme Muslims that have been in the past.
Okay.
And is it true there were groups like this in Palestine? I've heard there was a group called Fatah al-Islam, and I think Hamas kind of got rid of them. But there were elements. In fact, who were the group that killed the Italian journalist? Forget his name.
Actually, like if there perhaps they didn't come into my readings or
Okay.
perhaps just an appearance in one place because we here in the West Bank we had no witnessing of
Sure.
this appearance. So
Sure.
I have no like information
Okay.
about this.
No, I mean it seems to me that people of this ideology never generally set foot in Palestine or lift a finger to attack Israel. They're too busy killing other Muslims.
Yeah, that's the point also. They're making killing other people of their own blood and religion legit, but they're not willing to fight the Israelis I mean, like, have your priorities right. If you want to kill Muslims later, kill them, but go for Israel. That's more like highest priority right now. So that's what is making us believe more and more that it's just a hoax that had been prepared by like the side that we're fighting against. Because you have that weaponry, like, and you have that huge support. Why aren't you planning it in here in Palestine in the war against Gaza? Since we are saying that we are from the same religion and view, so that's why we believe that it's just a hoax and another party fighting against us, making it worse.
So, I mean, just in closing now, what do you see, in the near future in regards to ISIS? I mean, do you think that how will it end, basically? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it will have its benefits. Here, we're all Muslims, and we know when God in Surah As-Saff said about that sometimes evil grows, so it groups together, and people, it gets easier for them to spot evil and finish it. So I guess that's what ISS is going to face in the near future. They're going to group up, and the people will start witnessing them and recognizing them so fast that we know where to point and we know where to aim and finish those ISIS and whoever is behind them. So we kill the ideology of ISIS.
Oh, right. Okay. So they'll be basically more recognizable in the future, and
Inshallah,
what
they'll
that
be
will do,
groupings, and it's gonna be easier to get rid of them.
and basically
And
it will
people are
bring more
being
people
more
together.
aware.
It will bring people together as well against them.
Like I think you know that, like, despite the bad things that happened in 9/11, the 11th of September, people started to be more aware about the who people who read about Islam. They started to be more aware of it, and ISS is doing the same for the people who are ready to read and know the truth.
Yeah, so
So
basically, if you're a person of sincerity, you want to know the truth,
yeah,
it will come to you. You will learn more about the truth.
they give you the motivation to know better.
Okay.
Islam for Dummies, isn't it? I thought that's what they've been reading, the people that are out there.
It's incredible.
Look, Rafiq, thank you so much for getting in touch from
Thanks a lot,
Nablus
Julian, for
in
having me,
occupied
man.
Palestine.
Thank you,
Look,
Rafiq, and please have more brothers and sisters from.
You can spread the word and please be a regular contributor on the show. Those that saw the video of me, if anyone saw the video of me drop on me, for Rafiq. Rafiq, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Julian. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers.
There he goes. That's Rafiq there.
Rafiq, all
Palestine, occupied Palestine.
there you go. You can cross that one off your map.
Yeah, that's another tick on my world map poster.
So, I mean, that was a interesting insight there.
It was.
I mean,
if anyone's got a different one, 01189 660 382. I don't think anyone's going to come and defend Daesh or ISIS, but I'm ready to hear.
if they're shy and they don't want to call in, they can always text.
What is the text number?
07909 567 527. We want to hear it. We want to hear opinions from all sides.
Yeah, apparently,
brave enough.
We're paranoid that British Muslims are flooding to fight there. But let's find out the truth on line 3. Who's this?
Yes.
Hello, caller. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can. If you speak up, we'll hear you a bit better. Go. Who's calling?
Is that loud enough?
Speak right into the phone, and we'll hear you.
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead, loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Good. I believe the topic is about terrorism today.
Yeah. It's
funny.
It's 9/11 tomorrow, so we're talking terrorism.
Oh, I see. What it is that we had an incident over a month ago with my son, who I booked him a ferry, and he was basically, they were waiting for him. The reason I say that is because by the time he got there and I called to check on him, they were telling him something about there's something wrong with his ticket. Then there was the computer crash. Next minute they took him.
Where was he traveling to, your son?
To Spain.
Okay, and he got involved with a terrorist group, or what?
No, they stopped him on a terrorism act.
Oh, they thought he was a terrorist.
Yeah.
But they were waiting for him is purely because of his name.
Yes.
Which obviously
Yes.
I've made a big thing about this, which complaint is on. It's on the way. It's been dealt with, not dealt with, but issued a complaint.
This is also another side, Julian. With the sister saying, this is the unfortunate side of things where Muslims in general are just being targeted.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the bad apples that are out there.
Sister, was that recently?
Yes, that was just over a month ago.
Okay.
And I must admit, I had spoken to one of the officers, saying what I have said. He was very, very pleasant. He wasn't there at the time. He tried to. He did not agree with that, if that's how it was dealt with, and if how I felt. And I said, to be totally honest with you, it's very clear. It's just clear as you could, no clearer than this you cannot get. It was simply he was booked in, and then next minute they had red flags waiting for him. Very simple, because when he got there, they were waiting, because 1 minute there's something wrong with your ticket, next minute a computer crash, next minute they took him.
So they changed the story, and then
Yes, and I was on the phone when this happened to check, because just to make sure, as you could imagine, with your children or family, friends, whatever, with the loved ones, you always make sure you check to make sure everything's okay. And after all, it was booked it. And so we have families there, and we normally do make these trips. The only difference this time was from a different port. And the reason I did that is because it was he can stay in the boat overnight instead of driving, because he's got problems with his leg. So the only thing I could actually, he hasn't got any record for these things or any problems. The only thing that could be, as I told them that, I said it was purely because of his name, which is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Discrimination.
Do you think there are Muslim kids heading out to Syria and Iraq who are on a so-called jihad?
Pardon?
Do you think there are British Muslims going abroad with bad intentions? We've heard one of them with a British accent saying that he's going to execute James Foley, and then we never actually saw the footage, but
that's what they're saying. Nowadays there's so much corruption. I lost my faith in the system, which I never used to before. But you never know when they are telling you the truth. You just don't know. For me, it is purely something against us Muslims. For what reason, I don't understand.
Well, some people will say, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to worry about.
That's absolutely right. That's why I'm making a big thing about this one. And
of course, and you should as well. You should. You should not, just leave it and just let it go. You
no,
really
I
need
don't
to make
take nothing down like that at all. I would never ever allow.
Mm.
I don't agree with terrorism whatsoever. Zero tolerance to that.
Yeah. But
Because
sister, can I just?
It's not in my religion to do that.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. Sister, can I just bring a point? The point is this: is where you've got you could say extreme groups or radical groups, and basically they make the point of Muslims being, targeted, left, right, and center. Basically, Muslims not being liked, and this is one of the reasons why they do these things. Why they become radical, or why they become they want to say extreme, but they probably just say we're just defending ourselves, we're defending our honor, because of what happened to your son as well. For example, obviously, he just got locked up, just for his name, because or they maybe didn't even like the way he looked. They said, oh, you know what, he's one of them, and this gives ammunition, you can say, to those particular groups, of saying, look, Muslims are hated regardless. Even if you sit at home, you don't do anything, just pray 5 times a day, they're still going to hate you.
Well, look, on the counter, can I just interject? As someone else who's been locked up as a suspected terrorist, and I'm not even Muslim, I understand why such measures have to be taken, because there are some people, I mean, awkward for us to acknowledge it, but there are some people from Britain of a jihadist mentality who are going abroad to wage jihad. Now, why is that?
Well, first and foremost,
I'm sorry for what happened to your son, and it's wrong, but it wouldn't be happening if there weren't some people committing acts of terror at home and abroad.
Yes. No. Like I said earlier on, I said I'm totally and utterly against. But what the system is failing to understand is, instead of working with the Muslim youth and to understand them, they are targeting them, which that in itself will only push them to do. They're building a hate in them, whether it's done deliberately or are they doing it deliberately to see a reaction, to say yes, we are right, so it gives them the right to do whatever they do and to increase doing what they're doing. That is another strategy, could be coming from their end. Or because they're very intelligent people and they know to work like with any other culture. They normally say the right way forward is to work with them, understand them, and try to understand them and rebuild them, or
but instead they're just targeting. They're just targeting. No,
but there is a strategy as well, I believe, is because where they want rights to do certain stuff they are doing, they would like to take this opportunity by targeting and making the young lads quite angry inside them and feeling like the system doesn't trust us, doesn't like us. So they become, and they know the majority of Muslim people are very hot-headed. They're not slow thinkers and take their time to think about anything and say, right, this is how you want me to be.
Bit of a generalization there, Baba.
No. Well,
bit of a generalization.
Well, just as a point, in Islam, we're not taught to turn the other cheek.
These are not the views of the Late Show.
Yes, but you see, this is what I would like to explain. Is yes, in Islam we're not. I totally understand, but because we don't live in a Muslim country, then we have to understand.
Does Islam not teach forgiveness? Sorry, did I miss that one?
Pardon?
Does Islam not teach you to be forgiving?
No. Islam teaches us to be forgiving, understanding. Islam is peace, it's love. It's not about hatred or about killing or about nothing. Okay? If obviously if somebody's going to target my family or something, I have to, because you have to defend your family and your home and your land and whatever. But what I'm saying is, strategy they are using at the moment, is it to build them and make them more aggressive, or is it a strategy to say, look, we are right?
But does it maybe it suits Britain to have a bunch of angry Muslims?
But that's exactly my point. That is what I'm saying. Is their strategy? What are they doing now? Is it just to make the youth more angry than what they are? Because they already know they're angry because of what they see on TV, the slaughter that is happening, how they just turn in the other cheek. They're already angry to see another brother or a sister, regardless of what religion. None of us would like to see what we see in. We don't like to see whether it's Palestine, whether it's Jewish, whether it's English, whatever it is. For us to see what we saw, what they're doing to them, if it was any other religion, other culture, we still would not agree with it, because our religion doesn't tell us it's right for us to see that. What I'm saying, the point I'm trying to say to you, already the young guys, what doesn't matter what age, but let's just say the young guys now, let's say the young youth, or her head, majority of them screwed on properly, or anger is much higher, and the way to control themselves is not as of an older, grown-up person. So are they using this to their advantage to wind them up more, to make them do silly things for them to say, look, we got rights. You know? So now we got the rights to do this. The law changes. Now we got to, you know, blah, 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 whatever. You know? It's like a while back, I used to hear majority of the black guys were being stopped for
another generalization.
Search and whatever.
Okay.
Sorry, stop and search. You know? It always comes a certain time where they target.
Well, basically, sister, I mean, I think what you're trying to get at is that the system, or the people that control the system, they want to produce angry Muslims because it gives them the excuse to carry on doing whatever they're doing.
Yes, to say we are right. The young brothers need to wake up and say to themselves, we do not fall into that trap, because our religion does not tell us to do so.
Yeah.
Our religion is based on love and peace and harmony and helping and whatever. Unless, obviously, we're talking about our honor, our family, our home, our land. It's another story.
But where do we draw the line as Muslims? You know, where do we say, you know, this it's time for self-defense now? You know, when does that come? You know, when do we actually make that decision to say, you know what, enough's enough? You know, we're gonna do some self-defense now. And now, whenever a Muslim tries to do self-defense, they're called terrorists. Is that right, Julian?
What do you mean self-defense?
Well, let's take, for example, Iraq now. You know, where people have been butchered. You know, probably into the millions. You know, generations have died. You know, and
but you know why though?
I don't know why, but what I want to get to.
I want to know why.
Let me just stop you 2 minutes.
Yes.
Please.
Go.
We're going to find out why now.
Just 2 seconds. Yeah. So this goes back to what I just said a minute ago.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason being is because we are too hot-headed. We get angry too quick.
No, sister. No.
No. Listen.
Sister, when you have bombs.
Let me just finish.
Italians are like that as well.
Just so you understand where I'm coming from first. And
Irish are like that.
They are.
Okay,
no,
sister. Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
Listen, because this is an example. We can't even speak to each other. You know, we have to learn to listen to one another.
I apologize.
Yes, we can. We can say, oh, this. I can turn around and say, well, they're only into Iraq because of the gold of this, of that, of the other, blah blah blah. I can go into so many topics with you. I can give you a million explanations. Yes, but the bottom line works on is like, let's say you and I was married in a home of our own.
Now
yes?
we're talking.
We are comfortable. We are having a dispute about. We got married. Alhamdulillah, halal. Everything's good. Then me and you start having a dispute. We start having arguing. We had 2 kids. We start having problems. Kids bring problems, etc. Our neighbor comes into place thinking that she's helping us. Next minute, I go into the kitchen to cook. She tells you something that winds you up about me. You go out. She tells me something about you. There's a person in between that is creating serious problem in this household. Nor do you wake up to it, nor do I wake up to it. We play into their hands. That's what happens in the Arab world. All Arab world.
Manipulation, you call that.
Yeah. People come, they become the unseen. They come in between them. Maybe they don't even visit them. Maybe they make a phone call. They stir problems. That's where I say to you, we are.
I appreciate, sister. We totally
bring it on ourselves, and then sometime we have to accept, unless we fix our homes, whether it's a land, whether it's a house, there is absolutely, we have to take the blame for certain things.
Of course, yes.
They started discreetly, they started verbally, they started sneakily, whatever method you want to use it, whether it's a home or a country. But who carries it out? Because we need to sit and be able to talk to each other, be able to discuss the problem among us. Me and you need to sit and say, right, Niger, I think you said this and you've done this. And not the pride needs to disappear.
Of course.
The pride needs to disappear. And the I am better than you, or you're better than me, or no, I'm a man, or no, I'm a woman. There's women who think they are superior to men. There's men think they're superior. There's no superior about nothing here. There is respect. A man needs to be respected to his full limits, and there should be a border between a man and a woman, so the respect remains.
We totally agree with everything that you're saying. Yes. But the point that I was getting to, sister, is the aspect of the self-defense side. You know, why radicals are born or created from it. What I'm trying to say is that when you have bombs dropping on your head, when you see family members. Sorry, let me finish. Yes, it's wrong, but where does a Muslim say, yeah, I have to defend my honor, it's time for self-defense? But when a Muslim does that, why they be labeled as terrorists? So,
no, they shouldn't. No, because you're defending your home or you're defending your land. How can that be a terrorist?
Well,
this is the problem. This is what it's called.
Sorry?
This is what it's called. This is what the media call it.
They want to name it. Exactly.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say to you.
Okay.
They would name anything they want to name and give it the name. And the reason they called it now, okay, and guess where we are today? We are today wondering why they're calling it that when we have the right. But what they're doing to the young generation is build up fire and make them what they are in order to say we are right to call you that. You understand?
Totally
understand. So what they do in everything they want to do. For example, they want to change the law. They want to put up gas, electric, whatever. They tell you in advance, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and then they start giving you why is the reason we're going to do that. The same thing. They want to label Muslim brothers and sisters as terrorists, whatever they want to do. Yes, they're doing it, and they created all this terrorism, whatever you want to call it. They created it. But they're using the Muslim name and the Muslim countries and whatever for that reason, and they want to label that. But what they're doing, at the same time, they're playing the strategy number 2, which is to build up the young brothers and sisters so full of anger and to see this stuff and to stop them, and like what they've done with my son, to make them and say, turn around and say,
hello?
I can't believe it.
Hello?
I think we've lost the call.
No, I think someone's still there.
Hello?
Yes,
sorry.
Yes, sister, yeah, we're still there.
What? That was a cliffhanger moment. We lost you.
Sorry.
You're back now. You're back now.
Are you okay there? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's the whole point I'm trying to say to you. When they start labeling things, don't ever forget.
Okay.
There are planning strategies.
So can we
that plan.
Yeah, can we get a
conclusion?
Can we get a conclusion? Can we get a conclusion? Can we get a conclusion to your call? So what is the the answer here?
I'll tell you the answer. Shall I tell you the answer?
The answer is?
The answer is people need to be re-educated how to handle anger and conversations and directions and not fall into the hands of the creator, the ones who are creating the whole corruption in this world. That's the answer.
Totally agree with you there, sister. Totally agree. It's just that, me and you.
I personally wish I could open up a school and I will devote my life and my time free just to speak to the young brothers and sisters.
That's beautiful. May Allah make that happen for you, inshallah.
And to tell them, this is the way we have to take it. This is the way, and to convince them. There is so many ways I believe I'm capable of doing so, because I believe in what I say, and I truly believe I can see it right in front of me.
We can hear the sincerity in your voice. We can hear the sincerity in your voice, sister.
Yes, and it will work. It will work. Nothing can beat. Nobody in this world, no matter how powerful they think they are, apart from God, I don't believe there's no one powerful than Him. But those who believe they've got power in whatever in this world, no here nor there for me as far as I'm concerned, is you cannot argue with the truth. The truth stares you in the face, and it makes sense to the blind, to the deaf, to whatever. You need to rebuild the Muslim brothers and sisters by sitting them down, explaining to them this is what's happening. That's why you are seeing this. You not need to walk into this trap. You need to walk away from this trap. Mm-hmm. Yes, of course, your honor, your home, your country, your land. Of course, you have to. This is part of who we are. Otherwise, we are hypocrites in every shape and form. But how do we stop certain things happening, being targeted? How do we not play into their hands? Do you understand? This is what the young guys need to be educated. They have to be. They have to be. Even when they go to the mosque, they should tell them these things. They should tell them these things. They should. This is how we need to be. This is what we are. This is how we need to be. We don't play into anger. Anger is from shaitan, and we don't need to allow people to bring out the worst in us, bring out the good in us. We will change the system. Do you know how many of us are there? Millions of us. If we all get together, hold hands together, and just not play into this game, whatever game it is, we'll be off. We'll be just fine.
The call this evening. It was very
Thank you.
insightful, and mashallah, you have a lot of opinions there, and you have
Call again.
Yeah, definitely.
Not tonight.
Not to,
but do call again.
Please call again.
I have just got your number from my friend Amina.
Okay.
A friend of mine called Amina.
That's a good friend to have.
Amina, sorry. Julian's friend, I believe.
Okay.
And we were talking about this. You guys had this topic.
Well, please
and I
call
said,
again. We
I would
appreciate
like to set out my point.
Yeah, inshallah. I mean, we're on every Wednesdays from 10 p.m. So please keep a lookout, ear out for our shows. We'd love to hear from you again.
Inshallah. And I hope your show continues to get stronger and stronger.
And
please point out, or maybe if you have recorded this conversation, play it now and again.
Oh no, yes, it will be recorded. It will be on our YouTube channel. Don't worry.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, it will be on the current YouTube channel. New one to come.
The current YouTube channel.
Current and
that was a very good.
I appreciated that call actually.
It was a very good call, very insightful. Yeah. And this is what we need. We need vibrant, positive thinking, individuals out there.
Okay.
And I'm sure the sister is doing a lot of work in the community as well. Mm-hmm. And this is what we need.
Yeah.
This is what we need. And the whole thing of to get rid of the hate. And what it is that the propaganda is creating hate, and this youngsters and young people are falling into that, and she's spotted that out.
Yeah, hate is definitely negative. It's going to have a negative effect on any community. But we came to talk about ISIS. Primarily, it's the anniversary of 9/11 at midnight tonight. Every year that anniversary approaches, it seems to me that terrorism gets highlighted in the media.
Sky high.
It gets talked about more. Fear mongering goes on. I'm not surprised that the caller's son was picked up. We seem to be back on the paranoia. We've got
That's what it is, Julian. Well said. Paranoia.
Paranoia. I'll bet this is the government. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Who's this?
Is
that Thawab?
Yes.
The line's very bad, Thawab. Welcome to the Late Show.
Thank you.
We're talking terrorism.
The
price of terrorism. What's your view?
Who are ISIS?
I think you respond to the last caller.
Okay. But we can't hear you too well, though.
If you can get to Skype, call us on Skype. It might be better. The line is very bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Thawab, if you can get through on Skype, that will be better, as I think
it was a bad line.
Bad signal there. Yeah.
So you are on to the
9/11,
creating paranoia.
9/11 and all that, creating paranoia. As we speak, Barack Obama is announcing whether he is going to attack Syria and in what way he is going to attack Syria.
But who is he attacking in Syria then?
Obama pitched to. Here we go.
Is he going to attack Assad or is he going to attack ISIS?
Well, we will find out. We've got a call, Yasser. We could do this all ourselves, obviously. No need for it.
Apologies if you're trying to call in. We're having a few technical issues here.
01189660382. We've got Thawab now through on the Skype call. Thawab.
So,
think you've got bad signal wherever you are. Go ahead.
Yes.
Tawab, you might have to text the show or send in a voice clip because you got bad signal where you are. We can't hear you.
Hopefully the text will work.
Yeah. If you are somewhere with good signal, or 1-8960382. Give me a call. We'll put you on air.
And if you want to text in, 7909567527. The text line has been pretty quiet the last few weeks. I think people are, slowly coming out of their shells. They prefer to call in. It must be this ice bucket challenge.
I think that's what it is.
The ice bucket challenge brought a lot of people out of the shell.
I think that's what it is.
People tend to be more confident now in front of the camera and stuff.
Performers. So look, Barack Obama is considering bombing Iraq and Syria to stop ISIS because they've been butchering people throughout the land, and they've been doing that for 3 years anyway. We really care because the journalists were executed on a video. Am I wrong? I think James Foley gets executed or not, and all of a sudden we're all up in arms about
well,
ISIS.
you raised a very good point there. James Foley or Mick Foley.
You're thinking of Chris Benoit.
Sorry, I got it mixed up there. It's not Mick Foley.
Okay.
Yeah.
James Foley.
Right. Okay. James Foley. Now, he is not the first, journalist to be, killed or executed, in Syria or Iraq. There's a whole list of them. There's an infamous video. Journalist, correct me if I'm wrong, was being buried alive, and they actually videoed it by Assad.
Yes.
Soldiers. There was no uproar about that. Unfortunately, obviously because he doesn't hold an American passport or a British passport, but that was a very infamous video. Yeah, so there's been a whole load of journalists that have been killed in these conflicts, but I guess some lives are more valuable than others.
This is the problem. Some lives are more valuable than others, and if James Foley has lost his life, that is a tragedy for him and his family, and it would seem that perhaps he has. I say perhaps because on the video, the perfect HD shot, studio-looking fake backdrop video with a British guy in a balaclava.
The Beatle.
Is that what they call him? The Beatle, right? My goodness.
WWE couldn't think of a bad name.
You couldn't make it up.
Yeah, you couldn't make it
up. When he is executed, all of a sudden we're now talking about. I mean, it just seems too simple.
The stupid headlines, Jihadi John.
Headlines like Jihadi John to get everyone hyped up behind a war against ISIS. It just seems a little bit too simple to me. And in the same week, I saw footage of 300 Syrian soldiers marched into the desert in their underwear and executed on the spot. Some by gunfire, some by throat cutting. Okay, that's 300 Syrians. But we didn't. You'd really have to Google it to find out about that one. But James Foley, because he's an American,
hello,
he seems to get the headlines. Are we going over to Saudi Arabia?
Hello, السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. Amid.
كيف الحال جوليا؟
الحمد لله العظيم.
كيف الحال يا شباب؟ What's up?
Baba, how are you doing?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm fine. How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah. So, Julian, I have one idea I want to share about terrorism.
Give me your idea.
We lost him.
Has he gone?
We lost him.
What is up with Skype?
I think there's a conspiracy going on.
Talk. Try again.
We seem to be losing a lot of calls today.
It's funny how these things happen, Barbara. When we talk about the truth.
Yes.
He knew too much. Have we got him back? No? Oh man. It's getting frustrating. Look, Amid just messaged me saying his line is not good.
Yeah, so you were saying that because of
Syrian soldiers are executed, it doesn't mean nothing.
Syrian soldiers for who?
Syrian soldiers from the Syrian Arab army
fighting for Assad.
Fighting for Bashar al-Assad.
So is that a bad thing?
You tell me. It's still 300 people.
Well, imagine how many people they killed. They probably killed like 3 million.
Most of them are conscripted to the army.
This is war, not a tickling contest.
It's war, not a tickling contest. But
there you go. It's a war, not a tickling contest.
It's also an extrajudicial killing. Okay? And if you want me to give you more examples, I can. In Saudi Arabia, in the last month, there has been 30 executions via head chopping. That's one a day.
That could be down to people sinning.
It could well be.
You don't know. Adultery. Black magic is not tolerated there. So many things are not tolerated in the law. It could be down to people sinning.
Well, let's find out. I think we've gone back to Tawab. Have you got a clear line now?
I think so.
Welcome. We hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the Late Show.
Okay. I just two things. When you were on the call with the lady before, you said that that you can based on your own imprisonment, or that you can understand why precautions have to be taken. But I think that because there are terrorists and there are British people going to Syria, for example, or joining ISIS, but I actually don't think that the way anti-terrorism is being carried out in the UK, I don't think it's justifiable, or the way the precautions are being taken, because they waste so much time on innocent people, making them, angry, or creating, and it really creates this fear of terrorism, and terror creates kind of a state of exception where your own civil liberties no longer apply, where they're hacking into your computer, into your phone calls, into innocent people's phones, and tapping. And so I think, a fear of terrorism is completely blown out of proportion in the UK to spy on everyone.
Is it me that, or is it when it comes around to 9/11, we get a little bit more paranoid on the anniversary?
Exactly, and then we're always raising, the terror alert from, we have colors.
Red to dark red, scarlet,
exactly.
Primrose, I don't know.
And not just, and perhaps, and what it does is it takes blame away from the government and from the state for, we have ISIS in the Middle East, but why do we have it? Perhaps it didn't come out of a vacuum. Perhaps it has to do with U.S. Invasion in Iraq and the UK's foreign policy in the Middle East. But instead we're going to blame it on a few random people in the country, when I think we're putting the blame in the wrong place. But yeah, so I don't think it's really, and then we tend to target, people who are targeted in this kind of precaution tend to be immigrants, foreigners, other criminals get away with what they're doing. So yeah, that's just my opinion.
Thank you very much for sharing it on the Late Show. What do you think Barack Obama is going to do in his announcement? I've just read it now. His pitch could include training for Syrian rebels, and I think they might be making strategic strikes against Syria, but not with cooperation with the Syrian government.
without the cooperation. Well, I think that's that's stupid of him. So you're just going to go in, clearly history shows that doesn't go well.
As you said, isn't doing that in Iraq what led to ISIS? You're going to do it again and create another.
And ISIS breeds on chaos. It needs chaos for it to spread and to invade areas. It can't operate under control and I was reading an article just about the number of people Obama's administration have killed via drones far exceeds the number of beheadings ISIS has committed, and the people that Obama has authorized the killing of via drones are innocent people, are civilians. Nobody's calling for strategic strikes.
It would take a lot to kill more people than America. So, thank you very much for your call to the Late Show.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Yeah, let's not forget who the real murderers are. Let's never forget that, especially when we start talking about terrorism and is the Muslim next door going to himself up. The ISIS crisis was born out of the 13 years of America's occupation of Iraq. The government that they left there, they toppled a Sunni dictator and imposed a Shia government that now rule unjustly towards the Sunnis, divide and conquer.
Yes.
They want to.
Have these Sunnis joined up with ISIS?
No, almost. Apparently, no one in ISIS is Iraqi. They're all foreigners. Well, you're a very good judge of what a Mongolian looks like. I don't know. We've got a picture in front of me here of members of ISIS using heavy weapons.
And this guy looks like he's Spanish.
Yeah, they are a ragtag bunch of opportunistic.
And they got Toyota trucks.
They got trucks.
I don't have a Toyota truck.
Yeah, I mean,
donated by U.S. taxpayers.
Most likely. Most likely. Yeah.
But now, people must be getting confused out there, Julian, because just before Thawab's call, you were talking about the 300 Assad soldiers that got executed, But people are going to be confused now. They're thinking, okay, Assad's a bad guy. Obviously, his army is working for him. They're going around butchering, their own civilians, basically, mostly Sunni Muslims anyway, because they don't want the Sunni Muslims to, have any say in that country. And then you've got ISIS, who's trying to topple or kill Assad and his regime. Who's who then? So who is right and who is wrong? I mean, or should everyone just be sitting on the fence?
We don't like fence sitters on this show.
No.
A lot of critics of the of Bashar al-Assad will tell you that for a long time ISIS and the regime were not fighting each other. They were both busy killing the other factions, like the Free Syria Army. Add into the mix, you've got the Al-Nusra Front, who are a different faction of Al-Qaeda. It was Al-Nusra who first captured James Foley, and by either by selling him on or defections, he ended up in the hands of ISIS, apparently, and then was executed, but not on video. So you've got on that these people thrive on chaos. Who does it suit to have the Middle East in chaos?
Oh yeah, definitely. We know
the foreign entities who want to bomb Iraq and Syrian territory and who want to interfere in the conflict. Do you know who they are arming at the moment to help things?
Obviously, the chaotic bunch.
The Kurdish factions. They're arming the Peshmerga. Now, I've got nothing against.
Yes, they are.
I've got nothing
So it
against
just
the
creates
Kurdish
more. It creates more civil
movement
war.
for independence, or the Kurdish right to self-determination. But the Kurdish people are, as always, being used as a pawn in the Middle East chess game.
Maybe the Kurds like to be used.
And Yasser Ali's got a comment. Give him the microphone.
They did the same thing in Iraq, didn't they? They used the Shias, didn't
They did the same thing in Iraq. He's saying they use the Shia.
The Shias in power.
They will use anyone they can get hold of. But
I was actually watching something on CNN, which I know I shouldn't be watching CNN. But CNN about, Fox is worse.
Yeah.
My goodness. That's like as dumb.
Disney Channel.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
Well,
that's worse than
we got
the Sun newspaper.
Anyway. Hello, caller. You're on line 4. Go ahead. Who's this? Welcome to the Late Show. Hello, caller. You're live on air. It might just be the government listening.
Might be ISIS.
Hello, who's this?
Okay, we'll have to drop the call.
Speak now. And off they went. Curious.
Anyway, CNN, back to CNN.
Yeah.
Basically, it was about these armed Kurdish civilians and their women as well are being armed. And it was quite interesting. They said they actually fear the women. And the reason why they fear the women is that because they don't want the women to kill them in battle, because that might stop them from going to paradise by dying from the hands of a woman.
Really?
Yeah.
Well.
But the women are armed with AK-47s.
Is this another one of these little stories to just confuse?
Well, it was on. It was on. What's her name? Amanpour.
Oh, really? I don't.
I'm not familiar with that one. You know that one?
No.
She's all over the place.
Really?
Yeah. She's supposed to be like their best journalist, like pretty much.
No, I only like Amy Goodman from Democracy Now. Great presenter. Great presenter.
Don't know who that is.
Oh, you should find out. Yeah. Kurdish armed factions. These 10,000 to 20,000 fanatics from Chechnya, Libya, Saudi Arabia, Great Britain, apparently with.
Maybe they care, Julian.
Maybe they what?
Maybe they.
Well, they care a lot about fighting battles that suit America. Yes, maybe they do. They've got a big heart when it comes to helping America ruin the world and set it on fire.
Don't you think that the model is being sold to individuals in a certain way?
Yes, it is.
It's packaged. I mean, you've got the people at the top, right? They know how to package something, and I'm not talking about a bomb. They know how to.
Clarifying that.
They know how to package a product and sell it to impressionable young people, who are probably sincere.
And the kid who gets nabbed at the airport and detained because he's a Muslim is going to be fertile ground for that kind of seed of hatred.
Yeah.
And there are people packaging the story, as you say. Just to finish my point on the Kurdish people before I drop my pen, the Kurdish factions are being armed by Britain and America. Why? There's 10 to 20,000 ISIS fighters flooding the region. Don't you think that the regional governments could be dealing with that? Iran, Iraq, and Syria, and even Saudi Arabia. And ISIS.
But haven't the Kurds always wanted to be their own entity?
They have, and it's that desire that is being used to churn up
basically, the Yanks are saying to the Kurds, you don't want Iraq to sort out your problems, you don't want Saudi Arabia to sort out problems, let us help you because you don't want to be part of them anyway.
They want a destabilized region, and arming the Kurds against ISIS rather than the governments. Imagine someone invaded us, okay? and were killing hundreds of people, and we armed the IRA to deal with it, or another separatist faction. It wouldn't make sense. If you want a stable region, let the governments of the region deal with it. Now, you will say that Bashar al-Assad is an illegitimate government and it's a destabilized state. And the false choice between, well, do you want Bashar al-Assad or do you want ISIS? Well, ideally, you wouldn't want either. But can you believe that America went from wanting to attack Syria to stop Bashar al-Assad to wanting to attack Syria to stop ISIS, who Bashar al-Assad is already trying to stop? It seems clear to me what they really want to do is invade Syria at all costs, for any reason, and it doesn't matter what. Whether it's because so-and-so apparently used chemical weapons. Bashar al-Assad's regime are using chemical weapons. Barack said, oh, that's a red line in the sand. If you cross that, we'll invade you. And, oh, apparently from somewhere, chemical weapons were used. Now, it's disputed where those came from, and there is strong evidence to suggest that it was actually rebels that used chemical weapons, and there were chemical weapons in rebel hands. And now ISIS are killing people and executing James Foley. Are they or aren't they? Now that is the casus bellum for an invasion of Syria. And if you're going to, the Syrian government are already bombing ISIS and warring with ISIS on their sovereign territory, and America want to bomb ISIS in Syria on Syrian territory, but not by consulting the government, then that is an attack on Syrian territory. And I suspect that this will turn into what starts off as an attack on ISIS will turn into an attack on the Syrian government. And that's where this is really going. That's what this has all been about. And all the smoke and mirrors about so-and-so being kidnapped or not. The Americans are no stranger to falsifying and fabricating evidence to wind people up in favor of a war. I was reading as a Washington Post article, I think, that said in 2010 they admitted they had been making fake Osama bin Laden videos, and they were planning to make fake Saddam Hussein videos to prompt support for the war. In 1991, a woman claiming to be a Kuwaiti civilian stood up in front of the video camera at the press conference and tearfully told the audience how the Saddam Hussein's Iraqi soldiers had stormed into the hospital and thrown the babies out of the incubators. Have you seen that video? Very famous clip. Go, put it into YouTube. We might hear it. Famous clip. That woman today was the daughter of the Kuwaiti diplomat. A brave lie to babies, incubators. Put it into YouTube. You'll find it.
Saddam would never do such a thing.
Not that Saddam would never do that, but afraid to lie. To get a reaction.
Man.
I saw.
How dare people even believe that? People out there would believe that stuff.
Well, this is the thing.
I think Iraq was better off with Uncle Saddam.
Well, you're listening to the Late Show. 0118966.
And whatever happened to this Arab Spring, turned into Arab
winter
shambles.
Yeah, the so-called Arab Spring.
You don't hear any more springs going off.
Tunisia did it on their own Well done. Okay, rightly or wrongly. But
Libya.
Anyone else, if you need NATO,
let's go.
European Zionist armed wing
go
to help you overthrow your own government.
Let's go through the country, shall we?
Yeah.
So Tunisia, you could say, was a success.
Well done, Tunisia.
They've got their democracy.
The first and last.
The first. Libya, they don't know who's who and who's running the show.
The weapons used by ISIS currently were delivered to the rebels in Libya, in Benghazi.
Well, we had Libyan nationals leaving the UK freely and coming back freely, and at the airport they were asked, "Oh, how's the war going on and everything going all right?"
Colonel Gaddafi, who was apparently the new Hitler for a few months, his biggest mistake was attempting to unite Africa under a single currency that would be backed up by gold and that would take his country.
I've actually pulled up people about this point, and I've spoken to Libyans, and with all the stuff that's said about how Libya is about, you getting free education, free healthcare, when you get married you get X amount of grant money, all these things that are said, and then going on about the one, what's it called, one currency,
a united
currency,
Africa,
sorry, yeah. And they said yes, all these things were put down on paper, but none of it was actioned. So basically it just looked like to the outside world that these things were actually happening, but nothing was like that was happening of the sort.
Well, why does if you're having a revolution in your country, why do you need NATO to bomb your sovereign territory?
Right, we've got some text coming in.
Read this.
Thick and fast. Okay, so we're gonna stop talking to ourselves. First text. The text reads, "Where is Soggy?"
He's a man in demand.
We know Soggy has a massive fan base. We do apologize. He is a very busy man. Hopefully we should be getting him back on the show very soon. So please watch this space. The next text is a bit of an abusive one. I think it's for you, Julian.
Good.
It says, "Get off the air, you boring git." So I think that one's for you.
That must be.
I don't know.
My mum's always texting me.
Oh dear.
What's she like?
And the next one is, "I know a member of ISIS." Okay, if that member could please call in.
I know a member, or I'm now a member?
I know a member.
I know a member
of ISIS. If you do, please get them to call in because we really want to hear them.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to call in? Of course you are. The telephone number is?
The phone number is 01189 660 382. I think someone's doing that right now.
Our producer.
Is that the one? No? Hello, caller.
Right, okay, I'm going to read the next one. Okay, I'm going to read the next text. What would you prefer? Okay, we're going to go to this call. If it's still going.
Hello.
Check that's correct.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead. You're live on the Late Show. Go ahead.
Hi guys, how you doing? You okay?
Who's this?
Who's this? As if you don't recognize my voice by now. It's your mother.
Yeah, hello, Mum.
It's Nushin.
Nushin Yusefian, welcome back to the Late Show.
How you doing?
We're doing well.
I'm just about going home.
Where have you been tonight?
So I thought to give you a call regarding this important matter, which I know nothing about. But I thought maybe I could just, give you a call and waste your time a little.
No, you're welcome. Listen, if you don't know anything about it, we can educate you. Do you know? Do you know what ISIS is?
No, please explain to me.
Do you want it in layman's terms?
Say again?
Do you want it in layman's terms, which means very simple?
Yeah, okay. In very poor words.
But okay, basically, there are a bunch of angry Muslims who have gone to Iraq and Syria, and they're killing people. And Barack Obama wants to use that as an excuse to kill more people, essentially. How do you feel about that, Nush?
Well, it's not very nice of him, isn't it? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. I mean, I don't have too much knowledge in politics, but I don't think that you need to know politics to know that. That's not a very.
To know that killing is wrong.
I mean, the thing is that you're explaining to me this, right? But who knows how many other versions there are in the world? I mean, of how many other people explain the same concept in different ways, in different shapes. You know, because everyone looks after his own interest. Obama looks after his own interest, like people on the other side do, you know? So, what's my position on this? I don't know. The question that I ask myself first is, why are these people angry?
Well,
why are they angry about?
Why are they angry?
Like, where does this anger come from? Why are they angry?
I think it comes from the thousands of Muslims that have been killed at the hands of Britain and America in the last 50 years. What do you think? Might that annoy you? Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan.
I mean, obviously, I never. What is people not really talk about truth? You know, it's very hard to judge, but you know, I think that the reacting with the same. Reacting with violence on violence, it doesn't really work. So I think that, I mean, it's easy to talk and say they should just, you know, come to an agreement, because I'm sure that there is a way to come to an agreement, but I do believe that someone started it, and I don't know exactly who and when, because I wasn't there. And someone got hurt. So I think that the people who get hurt get angry, you know. And when you get angry, it's very hard to deal with your anger. So.
No doubt. Well, we deal.
But if you, what would you do? You get hurt. Of course, you start getting angry at the other person. You do the same thing. It's gonna be never-ending story. You know, it's like it's gonna be. It's gonna continue. If you get pissed off, of course you can say, you know, there are people who forgive, but how can you forgive when you see your family killed? You can't really forgive.
Forgiving, that is for sure. Nushin, thank you for your call on the Late Show. Live.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That was a great call. That was a great call.
That was Nushin's been in the studio. Now she's calling the studio.
Pretty interesting, because we were trying to get to that point earlier on in the show, where, you know, we were discussing that, you know, if someone had done so and so to your family, you know, done this or done that, you know, you would be angry. It's natural, you know.
But the thing is, I agree with that, but I didn't. It's just occurred to me.
It's, you know,
these guys are not Iraqi. What are they doing there? Are they that compassionate that they want to go to Iraq? And they're not killing Americans. They're killing other Muslims.
They're killing Christians and Yazidis, from what I hear.
Yeah. So
so you got like loads of, you know, stuff going on, and, you know, Iraq is a massive place, and it's too big for, I believe, one small group to take over. I mean, it's not as simple as that. And, you know, if you look at Iraq's history, you know, it's nothing but war. You know, just like Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You know?
And why?
It's very sorry to cut you off. It's very easy for us to sit here and say forgive and, you know, peace and this and that, but just ask the Palestinians. Are they so forgiving? Are they so, forgetful of what's happened? Of course not. It runs through their blood.
Well, look, the Palestinians are facing an occupation on their own doorstep, and they are resisting it.
Maybe there's Muslims in Iraq who are saying the same thing. We're facing persecution because
from Yazidis that have lived there longer than them.
Could be.
Christians that have lived there longer than them.
It could be.
These are the native inhabitants of Iraq
and
Syria, and foreigners from Chechnya, Libya, Britain, Saudi Arabia, France.
But they do call it Islamic State, so maybe those people need to pay their taxes, and then they will be able to stay.
Well, you don't walk into someone else's territory and order them to pay a tax to you. That's
well, the thing is with Iraq, has it really had a proper government since the fall of Saddam? Has it really actually had a proper structure since Saddam's fallen? No, it hasn't. So it's pretty much a free-for-all. I mean, you had not too long ago, before he was killed, you had the butcher of Baghdad, doing very similar to what ISIS is doing. And obviously that went quiet for a while, and now the same behavior has come back.
Yeah, I mean, look, for 13 years it's been an unstable government. If you destabilize a country and overthrow its dictator that you put there,
I mean, I'm sure similar things are happening in Libya now, where they don't have a stable government. It's pretty much a free-for-all, and you've got as many groups just fighting over a territory, and you're thinking, who's who?
Yeah.
And it could be like a limited company as well. Before it was called Al Qaeda, and then that shut down, and now it's called ISIS. Or it's called something else.
ISIS, ISIL, Daesh.
It's a new group. So why would Al Qaeda then?
Al Qaeda.
Where did they go?
It's just a name.
What happened to poor old Bin Laden? Where is he?
He's in the sea, apparently. He's in a watery.
They dumped him in the sea like Megatron.
Yeah, terrible, terrible business to do that to an old friend, Look, I'm going through some of the articles we've brought here. There's one explaining, this is from Stop the War Coalition, why attacking ISIS in Iraq and Syria with British drones is not a good idea.
Text.
And we've got more texts coming.
Yeah, sorry, I was meaning to read this text.
Give me a text. You've got a response.
Right, okay. I think this text wants to make a point. It basically reads, what would you prefer? Syrian regime or ISIS? Did the Syrian regime not help facilitate ISIS by releasing extremists from prison, but keeping more moderates and non-violent activists in prison, like Israel?
Did they say that, like Israel?
Yeah, it says.
Okay. Look, this is the point that I touched upon. Okay, when the uprising began in Syria, in Deraa, in the south of the country, the people wanted enough food to eat. They wanted enough money to support their family. And Bashar al-Assad's government clamped down on the uprising in a harsh way. And his argument has always been that, oh, I'm dealing with terrorists, and if they're saying that he released prisoners who were of an extreme view in order to
create chaos.
Yeah, create chaos and to legitimize his claim that I am dealing with terrorists. Perhaps he did. Perhaps he did. But the influx of terrorists from elsewhere still has to be explained. ISIS they're not Syrian, they're not Iraqi. They are every other nationality under the sun apart from Syrians and Iraqis. That's why it's such a false claim to be it's not people from Iraq and Sham, which is great area. are not. They don't want this state. You heard what Rafiq in Nablus had to say about it, and that is consensus across the board. So what was the exact question was, would I prefer Bashar al-Assad or the Syrian regime? He is the Syrian regime. Or ISIS. That is a question for the people of Syria to decide. And they must decide it for themselves, and they must overthrow their own government if they so wish. And I wish them luck in doing so. But foreign infiltrators are not going to help facilitate that. They have destroyed any hope of maybe a reformed Assad government. Maybe concessions could have been made under Bashar al-Assad, or maybe he could have stepped down, or maybe he could have had democratic elections. He did have an election in the small portion, or in the central portion of the country, which he does still control.
He had an election in his own conference room in his parliament building.
Well, he had an election in the areas of the country which he controlled. But if you want to look at something, a factor about the areas...
Is that even relevant though, Julian, if he had an election? Or I was going to say the other one, but I'm not going to say that. Yeah.
I'm not sure what word that was. That sounds like election, but don't see why that's relevant.
Like I said, does it even matter?
I don't know. You tell me.
It doesn't matter. The country is upside down. Yeah, he's holding on.
He's holding on to what?
This is the late show.
The late show. Very late. 01189 660 382 is the number to complain. Call. Yes. Look. On the issue of clinging to power,
it doesn't. Let me get serious. All right, it doesn't matter if the guy had an election.
It doesn't. Okay, because and focus.
When a country's upside down, it's torn to smithereens. Who cares?
You can't have an election. Yeah, I know. Just to legitimate.
Yeah.
Your
Luigi looking.
But what I'm saying is, had Syria not been flooded with hordes of foreign-backed fools carrying Islam for dummies,
gangbangers,
yeah, there would have been a chance for the Syrian people to create their own future, and not an armed insurrection. If you look at the map of Syria, the regions that are still controlled by the government are the central region, and the regions that are out of the regime's control are the border areas in the north from Turkey. This shows that the rebels are pouring in across the border. Would that suggest that?
Well, who's letting them in? Cannot Bashar al-Assad? Don't he control the borders? Who control? Oh.
Yeah, in parts they are rebel controlled, and bordering countries such as Turkey, who were favourable to the uprising and wished to see the back of Bashar al-Assad, may have facilitated.
So what happened to all those small pocket groups that were in Syria? You just hear now, all you hear now is ISIS and Bashar al-Assad. That's all you're hearing now. You don't hear all these other groups.
Other groups have had to make the terrible decision. Some have joined back and fought alongside Assad against ISIS to save their own lives.
So they were fighting against Assad.
They're trying to topple Assad, and then a worse
they failed,
devil
and then they went back to the devil.
And this is what, staunch, diehard.
That's what you call a fence sitter, Julian. That is a fence sitter right there.
Well, look, sometimes you can't win, and you're backed into a no-win situation.
So they're going back to helping bring back or bring power to the leader that they were trying to overthrow.
Yeah, when you realise you're going out of the frying pan and into the fire. And this is the point that the texter brought up didn't Bashar al-Assad free certain prisoners that were against him. Why am I getting funny noises in my ear from the producer? Yeah, look, he may have released certain prisoners with certain ideology, as I said, to delegitimize the revolution, and certainly that revolution now, sadly, seems to be dead. I don't think that Britain and America bombing Syrian territory is going to help.
Well, I don't think you'll be seeing any flowers blossom in the spring anytime soon.
The Arab Spring. Baba, are there any more texts or?
No, there is no more abusive texts or any more.
Bring it on, I'm ready.
Against you.
That's all right.
For tonight, I think we've pretty much given this topic as much justice as we were capable of doing. Unfortunately, we don't know any members of ISIS. If we did, we would have them in the studio. But, you know.
You're welcome. Anyway, watch Obama's speech. It should have been made. Should be clear now what he's going to do in Syria, and it seems to me that this has all been about
what a bully! What a bully! Syria. You're just sitting there and you're thinking, oh, okay, who shall I bomb today then?
What a disappointment! He doesn't even have to get re-elected again, so he doesn't need to do this to please anyone. And it's been a real Barack Obama's been a real disappointment for me. But maybe that'll be for another show.
You were actually hoping good?
I was optimistic.
Don't tell me you were falling for that black thing.
I didn't care about his race. I just thought he.
Oh my God!
I think we all did.
Well, it's the year 2014, and we're still judging people by the skin or the color of their skin, and hoping that maybe this guy we can relate to. But no.
He was as good a black man as Margaret Thatcher was a woman. I'll put it that way. And on that note, I shall bid you good night, I think.
Yes, we will be wrapping up the show now, so please tune in next week, Wednesday from 10 p.m., The Late Show 95.6 FM. And catch us on live stream. Follow us on Facebook at The Late Show 956 FM. So it's facebook.com/The Late Show 956 FM. We've got these fancy business cards that Junior's made, so we'll be dishing them out
for you.
When I'll be hanging out at casinos later and stuff.
Yeah.
We're dishing them out.
Give him the card.
But yeah, I think that's about it for tonight.
This has been The Late Show. We were here. We're gone. Laters.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In 2011, a couple of mercenaries escaped the back streets of Junction, still wanted by the masses. If you can find them, maybe you can call the late team. The voices of Reading.